Hello and welcome back to a new episode of Ground Tactician The Civil War, where we're playing the Union career mode. In the last episode we secured the loyalty of West Virginia and we won a major victory in the Fredericksburg area. We can see that the Confederate armies have withdrawn behind the Rappahannock River and our soldiers are getting ready to push onwards. We have the Department of Pennsylvania here, threatening Fredericksburg itself, and our own forces are getting ready to push further south. Currently we have August, but of course winter is going to come soon. Meaning that we have the most of our situation before we have to duck in for winter quarters. Over here, the 2nd Division of the Army of Occupation needs to move forward to Warrenton. This is going to cost us 128 prestige, but it is going to hold the Army of Shenandoah at bay. To our west, there is a small Confederate force behind our lines. They're building up a supply depot, but they only have 46 soldiers. I hope that they're simply going to stay down and not do anything, because we have tried to catch them before and they've always slipped away. Over here McDowell's raiders are quite hungry, they are out of provisions and out of forage for their horses, and I've ordered them to march forward to Lexington. Over there we are going to take over the Virginia Military Institute, meaning that the Confederates cannot train their officers here anymore. And to make sure that our soldiers don't starve, Morgan's raiders are marching on Staunton to take over this supply depot. With that, I hope our soldiers are going to be well fed. After that, we might push into Lynchburg or even into Charlottesville. The goal is to make sure that the Confederate forces have to disperse their troops even further. And as we are currently struggling with supply, I think it would be wise for us to invest into a supply reform. And also into a logistics reform. This way we are hopefully able to get more food and ammunitions to our soldiers. McDowell's men hopefully still move, they're getting support from all of these sections, and we are informed of a Sioux uprising. Settlers are getting attacked in Minnesota and Little Crow is on the warpath. The Redwood Agency has been attacked and Andrew Myrick was killed by the Dakota. Our forces are pushing forward and we can see that the Army of Shenandoah is on the retreat. The Army of the Peninsula is here with an unknown number of other units. And over here Fields Corps is holding out. This army got a new perk, very good. And I think engineers and mechanics are going to help us a great deal. Let's get our command center forward as well, together with the commander of the 2nd Division. Some of our soldiers have been issued better rifles and our soldiers have arrived at Lexington. Very good. We're now in control of the Virginia Military Institute. And soon McDowell is going to receive new supplies. We have captured this supply station and they have a good amount of provisions and forage available. Morgan's raiders are taking their time to capture this city, and we also have captured this area that is rich with farmland over here. The front lines are looking good. And I think it wouldn't hurt if McDowell constructs a new supply depot over here. And now that we have captured Staunton, we have also cut this railroad line. And we can also cut the railroad line at Lynchburg that apparently connects the South with the rest of the Confederacy. Charlottesville is also in arm's length and Richmond also is almost captured. New supply stations are getting built up. And our 4th Division is unable to do so, so let's order our 1st Division to also build a new supply station over here. As soon as our soldiers have some of their vigor back, we are going to send the 2nd Division forward, and we hope to overwhelm the army of the Shenandoah and Humphreys Division over in this area. Fredericksburg is also strongly defended, but their soldiers have suffered significantly, meaning that they are hopefully not able to reinforce. Our main problem right now is ammunition supply. Some of our units are completely out of it. In total, we only have 45% of rifle ammunition and 29% of artillery ammunition ready. And some of our units are also lacking provisions. Otherwise, I would have already given the order to advance forward. Our 5th Division is now also ready to move. Let's get the boys down. And over here our 4th Division is still hanging back. They are almost completely out of ammunition, but we are receiving new supplies daily. Our last action, where we study logistics, has been finished. Very good. Let's find out what else we can do. And I think one of the best things that we can do currently is to increase our training as an infantry specialist. The majority of our force is comprised of infantry, and the better we can train those soldiers, the better for us. It looks like these forces are officially cut off. As soon as Staunton is captured, I'm going to send Morgan's raiders forward to capture Harrisonsburg, and this should reopen our supply lines. We can see that the 1st Division is on the move, and it looks like we do not have to send out Morgan's raiders after all. The 1st Division is trying to deal with the Army of the Northwest. They should easily be able to do so. And there is a massive development. Congratulations, you have been promoted to command all nations' armies and fleets. You now report directly to the Secretary of War in the President's cabinet. This assignment is given by the President himself. He personally expects you to take a decisive role in the nation's war effort and bring home victory. Don't let him and the whole nation down. And in Western theater news, there has been a battle fought at Richmond, Kentucky. The Confederacy was victorious and the way to Lexington is open. Over 4,000 Yankee soldiers surrender. We now control all Union armies, and I think it would be good to make sure they move. McDowell's raiders are pushing further south into Lynchburg. Morgan's raiders still have to capture Staunton. After that, the supply route is still closed by the enemy, but our 1st Division of the Army of Occupation is getting close to the Army of Northwest. And in our west, we can order the Army of Occupation and the 2nd Division forward. With this, we should hopefully be able to hunt out the enemy in this section. After that, Fredericksburg is going to fall, and I hope that we can rout the enemy all the way to Richmond. Ammunition supply is still not the very best, but I'm sure we can win this fight quickly. We are going to wait with our attack until morning dawns, and then we are going to charge in. This should allow some of our soldiers to get further onto the field. But if we see that the Confederates are starting to move, we are of course immediately going to attack. And the Confederacy has passed their first Revenue Act. Higher sales tax is allowed and the income tax is introduced. The government funding is improved, but this is hurting the government support. Now is 6 o'clock on the 3rd of September. We have left the Confederates waiting far too long. Let's overrun their lines. Gentlemen, today is September 1st, 1862. Our scouts report the enemy is near Culpeper, Virginia, and our army is to prepare for battle. We are facing the army of Shenandoah under command of Henry R. Jackson, with strengths of some 8,000 soldiers and 13 guns. The enemy army is battle experienced and the morale is reported to be determined. Reports indicate the supply situation is outstanding. The supply state of our army is outstanding as well. And even though we assaulted the enemy lines, we are now currently fighting a defensive battle. The battle is about to begin. This is our soldiers' position. The 2nd Division is holding up in these woods, while our army of Northwestern Virginia is going to hold our center. McClellan's Green forces today have the option to finally shine and show what they can do in battle. It looks like the enemy has deployed a small vanguard in this forest, and they are going to be the first ones that we're going to kick out. The majority of their forces are currently holding up over there, but once the battle starts they might have deployed further to the north. Their most obvious route of attack would be over Crawford's Mill and then up this road. They could outflank us in the east, or they could try to march all the way up here alongside the west. This is why our 2nd Division is standing in their position. And we can see that the Confederate forces have held up further to the south. McClellan, just order your entire army forward. We're going to destroy Iverson's brigade, and then we are going to march further to the south. The enemy is now getting ready for action, and the 87th New York is going to be the first one on the battlefield. Our guns are also setting up. They are a mix of some 1-pounder Williams guns, but I've also seen some 14-pounder James rifles, and I think they also have some 10-pounder Parrots. Their cavalry is already fleeing. I mean, it is understandable. What were they supposed to do? Let's quickly give some manual orders to get the men forward. And the 1st Iowa Cavalry can attack the enemy. Over here the 6th Pennsylvania can also get on the flank, while these soldiers also start to move forward. Our artillery pieces and soldiers are taking some casualties, but our overwhelming amount of fire should make short work of them. Our cavalry have arrived on the enemy flanks. Let's order the soldiers to charge. The 6th Pennsylvania is already wavering, but once they are in contact, they should see that the enemy can do nothing to stop them. Come on, men, hurry up. Very good. The 3rd Tennessee Battery is taking casualties. We are sending infantry up to help. These men from Ohio can help the attack on the 7th Alabama. 6th Pennsylvania is rushing in. And we have destroyed this 1st battery. Now, 1st Ohio. You need to make sure that the 6th Pennsylvania is getting revenged. They have broken somehow. Well, I guess this army is completely green. They do not know what they're doing yet, and this can be the reason why 939 cavalrymen, even though they haven't taken a single casualty, are already wavering. Well, maybe they're at least able to hunt down the 7th Virginia. And if possible, 1st Iowa, you are now going to hunt down and finish off this infantry regiment for good. If this would be a success, we would have taken out Iverson's brigade completely. But our cavalry is quite slow. They are getting bogged down by the terrain. How is the rest of the Confederate army looking? Some of their forces are divided. They're marching up over here and over this route. Quite interesting. We are now hunting the 7th Alabama closer to our own lines. And we have taken 43 casualties in total, while our army suffered 255. Come on! Everyone, destroy the 7th Alabama. Go in immediately, make them suffer. I don't know if the man from Virginia got away. Iverson's brigade commander is withdrawing. He has supposedly still a strength of 101 soldier. I wonder if he can force the 7th Alabama to give up. After that, the army of McClellan is going to withdraw so that we can lure the enemy in. Or better, they're going to march up this ridge. Then we can take out the enemy from the protection of the forest. Let's get the army forward. We are going to take a defensive line over here. Once we have reached position, we are going to divert the soldiers a little bit further. First Brigade, you need to shift slightly. The enemy might come up over here, and then we are in danger of getting outflanked. 5th Brigade, you are marching down here. 2nd, you are good where you have been ordered. And we are also going to get the 4th. We are also going to get the 3rd and the 1st Brigade closer to the fighting line. And we can see that some of the Confederate forces are about to make contact with our new line. Over here we can see that some of the enemy are trying to push. Let's get the 2nd Division forward to this point. We might be able to cut some of them off. The majority of the Confederate force seems to focus on McClellan. And according to the battle map, we have taken out a huge chunk of their artillery already. I have the feeling that they are not willing to run into our trap. Let's get the command of the 2nd Division forward to make sure that the enemy is not going to bypass us on this road. Enemy guns are horse cavalry. They're now starting to set up. It looks like they have finally noticed us. Our soldiers are setting up. They still take some time to get into position. Let's just make sure that they hold long enough. Over here we can see that the 3rd North Carolina are pushing up. Come on, man, move forward so that you can assist. And we can see that the 14th North Carolina is apparently trying to flank us. More Confederate forces are coming up over here. Our men are getting ready into action. And our 4th Brigade is moving forward. Let's get these boys up over here. And we can see that the enemy is apparently getting ready to attack our lines. These soldiers are currently facing the wrong way. 4th Louisiana is coming up as soon as they get into rifle range, and I hope then our soldiers are able to get into protective posture. We are going to order our soldiers to attack. 1st Maryland, can you focus on counter battery fire? And over here the 16th Massachusetts needs to move forward. Some of our soldiers still have the Springfield rifle. Oh well, this is Springfield musket, not the Springfield rifle. Our artillery is coming up. The 13th North Carolina should be wavering any minute now. 14th is coming up to this line. And over here our 2nd Division is advancing. Let's get them forward to this crossroad. We are going to deal with the 14th North Carolina on the way. And looks like the 12th North Carolina wants to get close and personal. Let's get more of our soldiers forward. 6th Pennsylvania Cavalry is already routing. Over here more of our infantry is coming up. Let's simply give them attack orders so that they're going to march straight at the enemy. They still have some forces coming up. Over here this brigade is going to get ordered closer to this section to protect our men. The same goes with this brigade that is going to take position over here. They're going to be a little bit of a reserve. Divisional Commander and McLellan, I hope you're keeping up. These men are far too close to the enemy. I want them to fall back under fire. This might break their morale if we are unlucky. Enemy cavalry is coming up. Flank them, man. Flank them. How is the situation over here looking? We have defeated what the enemy sent over. And the 6th Georgia together with some Morse units are coming up. Let's get the men onto this fence line. Oh, there we have a good defensive position. And we should hopefully be able to hold them back. Our artillery has routed. And over here our battle experience units are coming onto the battlefield. Well, these men are maybe also going to be routed. We are now delivering flanking fire on some units. Some of our soldiers are fighting on the shortest range possible. Let's get them to fall back. 17th Ohio, you need to give some cover fire. And the inexperience of these soldiers does show. More enemy forces are now coming up. 17th Ohio shift. And we are taking a lot more casualties than I was expecting. These soldiers are taking their sweet time to get into action. Our 4th Brigade is coming forward. Very good. We are about to get the enemy into range. Over here our soldiers are getting ready to hopefully stop another enemy assault. And over here some of our soldiers are going to shift and turn fairly soon. Let's get these boys to fall back. We are sending help up, but they're going to take some time. We now have a mass rout from our inexperienced soldiers, but our men are now here and they're now opening fire. Come on, man, get forward. These 10-pounders open up on the 4th Tennessee Battery. These men can also push up to the 4th Tennessee Battery. These guns, I want them to focus on counter-battery fire. They're going to shell Portsmouth artillery. They only have one artillery piece left. Over here our line is crumbling. This brigade is still needing some more time. The 12th North Carolina is now getting outflanked. Very good. The 3-inch ordnances can also focus on counter-battery fire. The quicker we have silenced those guns, the better. 1st North Carolina cavalry is rushing up. They might be able to break this already wavering unit. 6th Pennsylvania, move up. We need to protect our guns. Over here more of our boys are rushing forward. The 1st US Cavalry can hang back for a moment. Come on, man, everyone, move up, move up, move up. And hit them. We have driven back the Lynchburg artillery. Let's get our soldiers forward to hit the next enemy artillery line. We can see that they're sending more soldiers in. This battle is far too chaotic for my taste. Some of our men are getting flanked, but we simply have to hold out for a moment. We need to take out those guns. Those soldiers. Over here more of our men are rushing forward. We can see that enemy reinforcements are arriving. And McLaren's forces do disappoint me. I was hoping that they would have a little bit more, well, fighting strength. These men can now shift and focus on the larger unit. The 14th North Carolina is still there. But we are sending the 8th and the 14th is now also opening up on the enemy soldiers. Let's get our guns. Let's get our guys closer to the enemy guns. And we're also going to order this brigade forward. With the exception, of course, of their artillery, they can still shell the enemy. So let's make sure that they're going to do that. The 5th Louisiana is going to be our next target over here. These soldiers are going to hang back to make sure that our flank is somewhat protected. And our men are rushing forward and hunting the enemy. We now have a minor victory at a staggering cost of 828 losses. But unlike the Confederates, we can definitely replenish those. 3rd Virginia Cavalry is on the field. I'm going to send more infantry forward to deal with those. This reserve brigade can move forward. And over here, some of our units are already intermixed with other parts of our fighting line. Therefore, let's give them individual orders. We can now see that the enemy lines start to crumble. The 5th Louisiana is taking more and more casualties. 2nd New Hampshire is opening up on the enemy. The 3rd Georgia battery is over there. 2nd Rhode Island, shift and finish them. Come on, gentlemen, push forward. We have the 1st Texas battery over here. We have the 88th New York still hanging back. We can do a lot of damage over here. The US Cavalry, I want you to march up over here. How is the situation to our west looking? The enemy is trying to get into a battle line. Let's get the men on the fences. Over here I want these soldiers to focus over here if the enemy is trying to charge our guns directly. Fighting is tense. The 3rd Georgia battery is now taking more and more casualties. They have already lost 16 of their soldiers and we're now outflanking the 1st Texas. Come on, man. Show me that you can fight. What are you guys doing? We have the 3rd Mississippi battery also on the field. Let's destroy those guns as well. 3rd Georgia is falling back under some casualties. And we now need to contest the enemy that has entrenched themselves in the forest. Otherwise, we have almost destroyed this line of enemy attackers. Some reinforcements are coming up. Over here, the enemy has not yet engaged. I wonder what they are trying to do, or if they're simply going to hold out until more forces are arriving. Over here it looks like some of the units have reformed. Let's get the brigade commander forward. Cohesion in my army is bad as always. And the 88th New York got driven back. Come on, man. Push, 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 push. We are slowly running out of daylight and I want to inflict as many casualties as possible. Our flanking battery is doing a decent job. Our veterans are also inflicting some casualties on the enemy. Not all of our veterans are in contact though. Let's get the men forward. th New York Militia, you can also move up. And we are driving away another enemy battery. First Brigade, you're going to push up over here. We can see that the enemy is shifting more forces to the north. It looks like they're trying to outmaneuver us. Let's hunt the enemy down and make sure that this is not going to happen. First Rhode Island, you're going to march over here. And we can see that Price detachment is in contact with our soldiers. 16th Massachusetts is coming up. The 87th New York is getting outflanked. Let's order them to fall back. They cannot do a lot over here. 14th New York, you're going to take over these artillery pieces. And over here the infantry needs to slam into the enemy lines. We can see that resistance is now starting to break down. But our soldiers over here are getting trapped. Come on, man, everyone who can, move forward, move forward, move forward. We are now routing more of their forces. We have a minor victory. But due to the extremely large brigades that McLaren has, we simply cannot order everyone forward. Let's get the man himself and the divisional commander forward. And we can see that the entire army over here is falling back. Let's quickly finish off this resistance so that we can send our 2nd division forward to help our beleaguered flank over here. 1st Wisconsin, I had ordered you on the trenches, on the fence line. Now get in the forest. If you're not willing to do that, you're going to help our flank. 6th Georgia is still holding up. Come on, everyone, move forward, overrun them. Over here we need to send some soldiers forward. We have an enemy unit still on the field. We are driving them back. Very good. More of their forces are running away. Over here we still have huge parts of our army hanging back. As soon as the resistance over here has stopped, we can reorganize the forces. Because currently I do not know where any of their commanders and soldiers are. Their lines are now breaking down. Very good. But the delaying action is still working quite well. We have 19 o'clock, maybe we have daylight until 20 o'clock. Casualties are mounting for the enemy. They have now lost 18% of their corps, 2,000 casualties, while we suffered 1,200. Far more than I expected for this fight, especially with our manpower superiority. Come on, man, Hampton, Hampton, Hampton. Over here, the 6th Georgia is running away. Let's try to get some sense into our lines. I want our 2nd division to in total push up over here. This is going to take a bunch of time as many of these units are already and still engaged. Over here, the 1st Division under McClellan. I want them to march up over here. These men are pushing forward. I do not know who are these soldiers. Ah yes, these were the men that we have sent forward. Very good. Some of our men are inevitably going to be left behind. We have an entire brigade over here that apparently routed previously. Let's get them forward. And the enemy has withdrawn to limit their casualties. This was a minor Federal victory. We were able to take out 21 Confederate artillery pieces and they suffered 2,100 casualties in total. On our side we had unfortunately 1,250 casualties. It definitely is something else if you have to command a very large army. In the Battle of Culpeper we were able to kill 268 rebels and we captured 790 of them. And we also captured 1,100 rifles and 11 enemy artillery pieces. During the fighting also Lieutenant Colonel Slammer loses face, the same goes for Lieutenant Colonel Wicker. The support for the rebel corps wavers and we now should see the enemy withdrawing from Culpeper. Gentlemen, let's get into the city and take up defensive positions wherever we can. The enemy might try to counterattack us. But I doubt that they have a lot to stop us here. Well, the army of New York is coming up. I want to send them through the Shenandoah Valley. They might be able to link up with Morden. And I want them to march to Harrisonsburg. After that, they might be able to take Charlottesville. But of course this could endanger them depending how far the front line moves. The army of the Northwest took some casualties, but they're still there and they have once again taken over the supply station and the Lynchburg Military Institute. Let's get our men forward to make sure that our men do not starve. Lynchburg is currently also under occupation. Soon we will have this back in our own lines. And we can see that the enemy has bled heavily in the fighting. And as we have done so well in the previous day, I think it might be wise to immediately follow up and hunt the enemy even further. We're giving out movement orders and if possible I want to hit Jackson's division once more. Our men are getting ready and the next battle should begin shortly. Let's get the commanders also forward. Come on, man. Let's get in contact with the enemy. We can see that some of their forces are withdrawing and the Shenandoah campaign was successful once more. I wonder what the meaning of that is. Maybe because we are sending some forces through the valley and some sections have been recaptured officially by the Confederates due to these artillery units standing back. We can see that Jackson's division is fleeing. Yes, the enemy is unable to fight and they are now giving up this position. Very good, very good, very good. And the day is getting better and better. There now is a recruitment crisis in the Confederacy and they are unable to fill their ranks. The Congress has started an emergency meeting and new laws being drafted. Soon there might start a forced conscription. We can see that the army of the Shenandoah and Jackson's division have pushed up. They are trying to hold us back over here. Our soldiers are still looking quite well. We can see that Anderson's division is over here and the Army of Virginia with 1,900 soldiers. And I wonder if these men are strong enough to break through. The Army of the Potomac and the Department of Pennsylvania together should be strong enough. And therefore I want to order our soldiers forward. We are now going to attack Fredericksburg. If successful, we will have a massive advantage over our enemy. The road to Richmond would be open. And we can see that the numbers are shockingly even. They have over 13,000 soldiers, while we have the same amount of men. In this case, I would say that we are going to dig in, we are going to deploy to defend, and we are now besieging Fredericksburg. Let's send our divisional commander together with the 1st Division. And I'm also going to send the 2nd Division. With that, we should be far superior over our enemy. And we can see that down here the enemy is still reinforcing their ranks. They shouldn't be able to really do much. And the Union passed the First Enrollment Act. Men between 20 and 45 are eligible to serve. Substitutes are wanted and immigrants are filing for citizenship to serve. The general public is angered by this action, but we desperately need more soldiers to fight. And now we have the manpower superiority that we need to attack the enemy. Today is September 7th, 1862. Our scouts report the enemy is near Fredericksburg, Virginia, and our army is to prepare for battle. We are facing the army of Northern Virginia under command of PGT Beauregard with some strength of 1,000 men and 0 artillery pieces. The enemy army is green and the morale is reported to be confident. Reports indicate the supply situation is outstanding. The supply state of our own army is outstanding as well. The enemy is once more going to attack us and therefore we have once more entrenched alongside Fredericksburg. Over here we have some reserves that have fortified this creek, and we have also fortified this section alongside Mary's Heights. We also have a brigade that is going to push up over here, making sure that we can't get outflanked, and over here we also have some reserves ready. With this we should be well prepared to hold off the enemy onslaught. We can see that the rebels are receiving some more reinforcements. And their main force is already on the battlefield. I do not know where they're marching yet. I guess they want to get on this road and then they're maybe going to focus over the Telegraph Road, or they may be going to head east alongside Lee's Hill to get our weaker side on Hazel Mill. We can see that the first approach of the enemy is going to come over the Telegraph Road, but we can also see some forces marching through the woodland. Our artillery is ready, they're soon going to open up. Let's make sure that these guns are facing the right direction. And let's get some more artillery pieces over. The first shots have been fired and we can see that the 19th Georgia is coming up together with the 1st Florida. If I remember correctly, we have already beaten back these soldiers in a first engagement. Some of our soldiers still have the Springfield rifle. Currently no more Springfield rifled muskets were available, but I'm sure we can get some more of quality equipment soon. Sixth New Jersey Infantry also face down on the enemy. It looks like they are willing to charge us. No forces are currently on our flank. Let's get the 17th Massachusetts and the 7th Maine out to outflank and absolutely slaughter the enemy. These men over here also need to shift. The quicker we can beat back the first enemy advances, the better. I want the 1st New York Cavalry to dismount. They're going to take position in this small gap of our lines. In case that the enemy is really trying to charge us out, we are going to be able to beat them off. These men have not yet moved, even though orders were given. I cannot determine why, but we are still holding the enemy back. First Florida already suffered 75 casualties, then South Carolina suffered 20. Come on, man, if you're unwilling to rush out, I'm simply going to give you a command to move on the enemy directly. And we have driven back the first enemy units. The second wave is coming up with the 19th Georgia. Now, man, if you were so kind, please get out so that we can get the enemy into a crossfire. 19th Georgia is already outflanked and they suffered 11 casualties. More enemy forces are coming up and it looks like this is a diversion as they are trying to sneak alongside this gap. Some forces are also pulling up over here. We still have one brigade over here as a reserve. And I think it would be wise to send the 1st brigade on this section as a fallback line. I do not know why these men are rushing out. This order was definitely not given. But if they want to finish off the first wave of attackers, then let's be it this way. Enemy cavalry from the 1st Georgia is coming up. We have some artillery pieces in the area. And it looks like this commander just ordered his entire brigade to move forward, even the artillery pieces. We have routed these guys. Let's get our soldiers ready to contest the enemy. They're sending more forces over here. And we're going to need them on the defense. Come on, man. Get a move on. 1st South Carolina battery is there with 16 artillery pieces. I want the 1st Connecticut battery to take care of those. If possible, shoot them. Do not give them the cold steel directly. Let's get these men back into a defensive posture. We might soon have to send more forces to the east, but we can see that the enemy is sending forces from Tennessee and Georgia over. They are trying to set up. We have the 2nd Tennessee battery over there. Let's focus our artillery pieces on counter battery fire for the moment. These guns are coming up. And finally, these guys are getting back where they belong. Our cavalry is about to attack the enemy guns. We can see that the 3rd Georgia, the 23rd Georgia is coming up together with the 4th Tennessee. A couple of volleys and we should be able to drive back the 1st South Carolina battery. And if possible, we are going to charge them. We do not have the time to rain down volley after volley on them. And our skirmishers have made contact with the 15th Georgia. Let's get the 32nd Pennsylvania infantry a little bit forward so that they have better cover. And the next phase of the battle is beginning. Yes, our Connecticut cavalry was able to hit enemy artillery. And these guns are destroyed. Now, man, rush back. And charge up there. Make sure you're as quick as possible. You do not want to get catched by the enemy. 11 South Carolina is now descending down to our own lines. It looks like their diversionary attack over here has not materialized. Oh my god, where are you guys going? I can't believe what I'm seeing here. You're going to get back into a defensive position. You're not directly rushing into the enemy. Over here I'm going to send the 21st Massachusetts forward to outflank the 15th Georgia. We can see that they're sending more forces forward. And these men are just willing to let themselves get slaughtered. We need to get the enemy close first, before we can hit them in the flank. Let's get these men up to deliver some more cover fire. And over here the 11th South Carolina is going to get shelled by our artillery pieces. Their forces over here are wasting precious time. There looks like they're going to withdraw and then try to regroup over here. And now that the enemy is engaged, we can send these forces out. Our artillery from the 7th Pennsylvania also wanted to rush out. Good that we saw that in time to hold them back. Over here our soldiers need to shift their fire. And looks like the 8th Connecticut is getting outflanked due to their position. But this flank is no longer open. 13th South Carolina is now getting targeted. If they are pulling back, we can focus on the flank of the 8th. But that is hitting our section over here. 2nd Wisconsin is wavering. Can we order them to fall back without them breaking? We have more forces on the line. And we are outflanking multiple enemy regiments. It looks like the 3rd Brigade is not going to be needed over here. Let's order them into town. And the commander of the 1st Division is moving forward. One of our units routed. And I guess the 8th Connecticut needs to fall back, otherwise they will actually get outflanked by the 16th North Carolina. Let's get these men ready to cross the creek. Over here the 1st Georgia is getting driven back. These men from Massachusetts are now getting close to the railroad line, meaning that they should get good cover. Let's get these guys forward as well. No enemy forces are currently on our rear. And we can see that the 11th South Carolina is falling back. They only took 26 casualties, but this was enough to rout them. We're now looking at a minor victory. We have suffered 340 casualties and inflicted 655 on the enemy. These artillery pieces want to rush up again. Just shell the enemy already. These guns have focused on counter-battery fire, but none of their batteries are in range for now. Let's order the men to open up on their side. These men need to get forward just a little bit so that we can hit the enemy. And these men also need to move up. We're now driving away massive parts of their forces, but over here the 8th South Carolina. But over here the 8th Connecticut is wavering. Our men from Illinois are inflicting a good crossfire on the enemy. Let's get the 5th Illinois over, just in case that this flank breaks. '20th Massachusetts, I want you to move up over here. And we can see that the enemy is getting more forces up and ready. 2 more regiments are coming up, meaning that these forces need to withdraw in a short while, otherwise they will get rear flanked. More enemy forces are falling back, very good. Let's get the 22nd back to the river line. We also need to order these guns to move back. The enemy is coming up. And we are going to order these soldiers to rush further down the trench line. The rest can maintain their current position. These men also need to move back. And we are still hitting the enemy quite effectively. Over here, the 8th Connecticut held, even though they suffered 200 casualties. So let's order them to fall back. And let's order these men from Illinois forward. Reinforcements are coming up. They're going to take a little bit of time, but they are going to arrive. More enemy forces are gathering their strength over here. Hopefully allowing us to get them in a crossfire. Let's get some of our soldiers down. And these men are obviously unwilling to retreat to the main line. Let's get our reinforcements up in case that the enemy is hitting our rear. I do not want them to get flanked. "32nd, move forward." We can see that we have routed more of their forces over here. The 16th North Carolina is still on the field. And some of our soldiers are hitting Jenkins. And some of our soldiers are hitting the commander of Jenkins' brigade. Let's send the 21st Massachusetts forward to drive them away for good. Our artillery is hampering down on these soldiers. They are currently sitting back. And these men are withdrawing right into our firing line. Maybe these men want to surrender. Come on, men, let's finish off the enemy. And these men from Connecticut are going to hold back the enemy if they try to sneak behind our lines. 52nd Virginia has taken over 5, have taken only 90 casualties. And with that, this unit should follow the retreat soon. Now, is this brigade willing to finally get back under control and finally get back into defensive line? Brigade commander, move back. These men also need to get back on a better fighting place. The 16th North Carolina is still holding on remarkably well. And the 8th Connecticut is basically out of the fight. They have taken far too many casualties. And soon the enemy is going to attack us once more. These men have finally gotten the retreat order. Let's hope they make it before the enemy is going to catch them. Let's get our brigade commanders behind our line, where they are safe, or at least somewhat safer. And we also need to get the commander of the 1st Division out of there. 23rd is now getting hit. If you can move on the double. The rest of the front line is looking very good. We have some fresh forces coming up. Let's distribute them alongside the line. These men I want to march up down here. And these men also need to get back behind the river. And looks like we're doing this just in time as the enemy is now pushing some of their forces forward. Down here we can see the 11th South Carolina is holding out. I want Colonel Joseph Hooker to attack them together with the 4th Illinois. They have the enemy significantly outnumbered and this should entice more of their forces to rout. We have a minor victory. We have inflicted 11% casualties on the enemy, but we've also lost 640 of our own men. And over here the enemy is advancing. The 23rd Georgia is coming up with 250 men. After there comes the 4th Tennessee with 730. 4th Illinois still has the Springfield musket. As soon as possible they're going to get the Springfield rifled musket. The enemy is now officially outflanked. Over here it looks like they're trying to withdraw. And the 25th is outflanked somehow. Let's try to shift them around. And let's get some of our soldiers forward to hit the men from Tennessee. Let's also get these men up to deliver some fire support. Are more of their forces joining the fight? Now it looks like the majority of them is going to hang back for the moment. Therefore, let's get the 7th Connecticut forward to once more hit the enemy in the flank. We can see that some of their artillery is coming up. And they should be in range now. Let's order our guns to focus on counter battery fire. And silence their artillery pieces. Over here we are still shelling enemy infantry. And the 4th Illinois has taken over the railroad line and is now hitting the 11th South Carolina. 3rd Illinois is now also opening fire. These men are wavering. They have only taken 60 casualties, but I guess they are a fresh unit. Yes, this is their first battle. Let's try to order them to fall back and get some more experienced soldiers forward. These men have arrived on the enemy flank. Very good. Unfortunately, this man routed. We have the enemy at range. The 4th Tennessee is getting hit. The 1st Alabama Cavalry is still there. And we have over here the 23rd Georgia. If possible, these men are going to focus on the enemy cavalry. And as the enemy is hanging back, I want to send some more forces forward. How is the situation over here looking? We have driven back the enemy. They are now sending in more forces. Very good. Let's order these guys to retreat. Maybe this is what it needed to take to lure them into attacking our line once more. Over here our men are still holding. And these men are coming up. Very good. How is the Arkansas battery looking? They haven't suffered any casualties so far. Are our men able to hit them? Or even targeting them? Well, I can definitely see some explosions in the area, so I guess our soldiers are now opening up fire. We now have 17 o'clock. This day is not going to go on forever. Maybe the Confederates will simply withdraw. Maybe this will drag out. We have now taken over 800 casualties, but inflicted over 1,500 on the enemy. These men are taking fire and are unable to shoot back. Let's get them forward just a little bit. The enemy cavalry with their quick reloading rifles are a problem. But our flanking force has arrived. Yes, very good. The first enemy units are now falling back, meaning that we are now also able to drive back their cavalry. Second Arkansas battery now took 3 casualties. We can see that the 4th Mississippi battery is setting up, and the majority of the infantry is holding back. Over here, these forces are also not really willing to attack. We can see Benning's attachment is trying to probe our lines. 32nd Pennsylvania, are you able to hit the enemy guns? I'm also going to get some skirmishers from the units over here. Come on, man. Push, 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 push. Drive the enemy back. We now have the best option to capture some enemy artillery. And we can see that the enemy is still not moving. Skirmishers, do not focus on infantry, focus on enemy guns. Enemy infantry is now getting outflanked very well. 4th Tennessee took over 100 casualties. They have only 600 men remaining. Yes, they are wavering. They should rout fairly quickly now. Very good. We have now inflicted 15% casualties on the enemy. We have almost lost 1,000 soldiers. So let's get these soldiers from Massachusetts down to hit those artillery pieces. We can see enemy cavalry and soldiers moving up on the flank. Let's get some more of our soldiers forward. I would love to silence their artillery pieces. After that, we need to fall back. Over here we can see that Benning's detachment is moving up and the 10th South Carolina is also behind them. Maybe some of them still want to throw their lives away. 4th Mississippi Battery is now getting targeted. They have 36 soldiers and 3 artillery pieces. This shouldn't be too hard of a fight. But we need to be careful of this flanking force. These men are trying to move up. And these men from Massachusetts are taking some heavy casualties. And we are slowly running out of ammunition. Let's get these guys up there to protect our flank. Well, no need to directly get on this line. The enemy is holding quite well. I hope that the 23rd makes it without wavering. 10th South Carolina has taken 56 casualties. They are not in... Well, actually they are in rifle range. Very good. I'm also going to send the 9th Maine out. And we can see that the enemy cavalry is on the move. Let's simply send these soldiers onto attack now. And these guys need to protect our artillery that is once more trying to get away. Come on, man. You need to protect our boys. We have driven back enemy artillery. Very good. But these men are now under direct fire. The 7th Virginia battery is over there. Let's get these men to fall back. This infantry detachment is going to hang back. And these boys are apparently withdrawing. Very good. Let's order these guys to run. Maybe they can make it without getting broken. And over here we are still holding back the enemy. 1st Georgia is coming up. They've taken over 100 casualties. Down here more forces are maneuvering. 10th South Carolina is beaten. Very good. Let's get these boys back in the trench line before something bad happens. And it looks like it is working to entice the enemy into attacking us. First Georgia is falling back. They should be broken any second now. And I'm going to send the 10th Maine forward to hit this unit in the flank. Over here more enemy units are coming up. It is the 1st Florida and I guess their infantry detachment. These horsemen that have dismounted can get back onto the firing line. And the enemy is sending more forces forward. Miraculously, the 1st Georgia is still on the field, even though they are heavily outflanked. And the enemy has now suffered 70% casualties. Come on, man, get forward. Some of our soldiers are taking some high casualties, and we have also burned through most of our ammunition. The 1st Georgia is simply standing there and taking it. I don't even think they are firing back anymore. Let's get our men forward to hit the 13th South Carolina. Over here more of the enemy is withdrawing. The 1st Florida is getting outflanked and they should be simply torn into pieces. And I do wonder why the enemy is still fighting. Let's get these boys forward. And let's try to beat back more of the enemy forces. They're sending in the 21st Georgia with 400 men and the 2nd Arkansas with 500. Over here the 32nd Pennsylvania is wavering. They have taken 190 casualties. And I wonder if we have to fall back soon. Let's order these men to retreat, and these artillery pieces simply want to move forward. Can't you just stay there and shell the enemy? We are able to drive away some of their forces. The 13th South Carolina is falling back under fire. This unit is outflanked and now routed. Let's get the boys up. Very good. These men are now also routed. Let's try to get the enemy artillery. Or not, as the enemy has now decided to withdraw. This was another minor federal victory, and we have inflicted over 2,200 casualties to our enemy. Unfortunately, we also lost 1,200 of our soldiers, but I hope that the majority of them is just wounded. And after our victory at Fredericksburg, the Army of Virginia is in retreat and Lieutenant Colonel Lee Dare loses face. The support for the rebel cause wavers, and out of the 2,270 casualties that we have inflicted, over 335 were killed and 534 were captured. We have also captured over 1,300 rifles and 3 enemy artillery pieces. These are very good news for us, and we should now see that the enemy is withdrawing from Fredericksburg. Our men are now getting over. And we can see that the army of the Shenandoah wanted to probe our lines. But I think this has to be it for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it, and until we meet again, I wish you all a great time.